I noticed that Badrinarayan Maharaj has very kindly joined the call. So what we might do, because Maharaj is with us now, rather than keeping him waiting, we'll adjust the schedule and we can go into our break after Maharaj has finished speaking, because I wouldn't like to keep a senior Vaishnav waiting.
That's quite kind of you.
Well, no, I just think it's basic etiquette, isn't it?
You know, I'm making up for being sick and missing the last one. I'm just going to get myself a glass of water. Why doesn't everybody just stand up for a minute, give yourself a good Hari Bol? Because I want your intelligence fresh. Stand up, shake your head a little bit, and wake yourself up, because I want your intelligence fresh. I'll be back in exactly 45 seconds.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hansa, are you with us?
Yes, Prabhu.
So you have Maharaj's slideshow ready in case he has trouble with sharing the screen?
Yes.
Right. I don't think you may not have to do it, but just in case he has issues with screen sharing.
Yes, yeah? Prabhu. Yes.
Fantastic. And while Maharaj is coming, I can just say a little bit about him. Yeah, Badrinarayan Maharaj is one of the senior members of ISKCON. He's a member of the GBC. His GBC area is in southwestern United States, particularly California, and I think also in Washington. I think he might be Washington State. He may be there also. Maharaj was actually in Los Angeles when Prabhupada spent, I can't remember how it was, like 5 or 6 months there training devotees.
18 months off and on.
Yeah, but that one period of time where he was setting up the ISKCON standard.
Yes, how long was he was training Shilavati, and I was assisting her.
Yeah, and then but after Prabhupada had set up this standard for every aspect of the temple, he invited temple presidents to come from around the world to learn this blueprint that he established in Los Angeles. So much of what we do in ISKCON now is based on that time that Prabhupada spent in Los Angeles. And as Maharaj just kindly informed us, he was there, and he was Shilavati. He was the first Pujari in ISKCON, and Maharaj was her assistant. So without
one of her assistants, because we were coming from different temples and being trained.
Without further ado, and without taking up any more of your time, I'll hand it over to His Holiness Badrinarayan Maharaj.
Now, do I have facility to screen share?
You have facility to whatever you like.
Don't say that. It'll get me in trouble. Let me open this up. I hope I've got the right version here.
Well, if not, we're ready and loaded.
No, let's just see what happens. Okay. Slideshow from the beginning. Now let's go to share screen. Let's go to deity standard. Let's go to slideshow. Hey, wait, stop. It's not letting me, you got to do it. And I'll just say advanced. It's not letting me open it up. You're just getting this partial version. Okay, oh no, let's go with this. We'll go with this. Namo Vishnu Padaya. Can we get rid of this sidebar? Why don't you do it? Because I want the full screen. So I'm going to stop share. You show it. Let's see how that looks. You show it.
Yes.
Hamsa. Hello, Earth to Hamsa. Don't hang me up here, buddy.
He's doing it, Maharaj. He's about to load it.
Doing is not done. Doing is doing. We want done. Now I made him nervous. All righty. Thank you, Prabhu. Vanchakapati Visar Kripa Sindhavevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastai Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Paskachada Satarani Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. I'm very grateful to Nrsinga Kavacha, who we are so lucky to have in our role as deity minister, international deity minister, that he asked me to speak upon this tradition. He asked me to speak about the necessity of preserving our sacred tradition. So that's my subject matter here. Okay, so next, I'll say next and you can move to the next slide. So Srila Prabhupada took the details of deity seva very, very seriously. You just look at Prabhupada's face and how carefully, he's trained Yamuna and he's checking, is she doing it just right? How's it going? Prabhupada did not miss a single detail. And it matters. Details matter. They say that the devil's in the details, but bhakti's also in the details too. Okay, next. These are Prabhupada's childhood deities. This is Shri Radha Govinda at the Mulak compound. And Prabhupada said to his father, they say God is dead. How is he dead? How can he be dead? He's standing right there. Prabhupada said that as a child, he would stand for hours and just drinking in, as Jiva Goswami says, that Krishna and Radha and Krishna are a feast for the eyes. Next. So puja is essential to bhakti, and it's from the very beginning. And because it's eternal, you can't really say beginning. But how does it begin? The cowherd boys are worshiping Krishna. The gopis are worshiping Krishna. Mother Yasoda is worshiping. This is Goloka Vrindavan. Goloka Vrindavan is puja at every step. So it's there in the spiritual world, eternally present. And puja, how to worship Krishna nicely. It's practical. It's a devotee's life. It is our protam and otam, our warp and woof of the fabric of devotional life is puja. It's not something pujaris do. It's not something that we do part-time, but it is the essence of how do we express our bhakti? Okay, next. Oh, Hamsarup, next. What do you got, a delay button here? What's happening? Earth to Hamsa. You have a voice?
He may have an internet issue. It seems like he's
Where is he
gone.
located? Where's he located?
Mayapur.
Well, that explains it.
It seems like his mouse is moving.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now it's okay.
So next, we want to go to the next slide. Oh, I'm not going to tolerate. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I don't mean to, it's just it's early in the morning for me. So, that's my excuse. Prabhupada said old men and little children, they can go anywhere and say anything. It's a special dispensation. So I'm taking full advantage. So, speculation. And we all have some bright idea. So there was a devotee. He's passed away. I won't mention his name. There's no need. He was a little eccentric. So he, instead of he was offering arti to Radha Kunja Bihari in Detroit. So instead of offering a nice flower, he offered one of those 4th of July sparklers. We call it a sparkler, but shh, those things like that. And our temple president, our long-suffering saintly temple president, Govardhan Prabhu, that just didn't seem right to him, So Prabhupada, by Krishna's grace, was coming about 10 days later. Prabhupada came, and Govardhan asked him about this, narrated the story. This man offered one of these fireworks sparklers instead of a flower. Prabhupada said, no. Prabhupada said, it should smell nice. It shouldn't smell like gunpowder. Krishna's Govinda. He's got senses. We don't offer him, and we don't speculate, it's pretty. So next. Oh. Okay, well, here's another example. Because this is New Vrindavan, Radha Vrindavan Chandra. You see the nice kajal around their eyes? When Prabhupada saw them, a picture of them, he said, oh, Radha and Krishna have appeared like American movie stars. And I was wondering, what does he mean? And if you go back and look at the 1930s, Prabhupada's father took him to every now and then he saw Prabhupada saw King Kong. Prabhupada saw some different movies as a child. And if you look at the American movie stars in the silent movies, 1930s, they had beautiful mascara on their eyes, dark like kajal. So I'm speculating, but I think that's what Prabhupada meant when he saw the eyes of beautiful Radha Vrindavan Chandra. So I was in New Vrindavan, and one day, greeting the deities, curtains open, and Krishna's covered with watches. Each arm has about 6 watches. Each, he has about 7 or 8 pocket watches all over him. Oh, well, Kirtananda said, what is this? And the Pujari said, well, Krishna says in the Gita, time I am. So, we're offering a sparkler. Somebody wrote me for Janmashtami. Can we put the big marble deities on a swing and swing them? I was thinking, have you lost your minds? So, I mean, we love to speculate. Okay, next. So Prabhupada, when Prabhupada was asked in Detroit about this sparkler and about this, or a flower, Prabhupada said, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam. Krishna says a flower. It doesn't say a fireworks sparkler. So Prabhupada came out with this great line: in taking one's meals and in deity worship, when in doubt, don't. You get some bright idea. Oh, we're going to paint Lord Ram bright, green. Actually, Kusha is the color. It's a bluish green. But, we're going to paint him bright green. No. You ask somebody who knows. When in doubt, don't. Just like if your meals, if you don't eat too much, you won't get indigestion. You think, oh, I'll have that 3rd, 5th, 7th, 10th kachori. No, you're going to get sick. So in deity worship, stay true to what we know is our standard. And why does that matter? Are we just blind? Next. What happens if you have 2 lines? You have 2 lines. See my fingers? Okay, they're parallel. The very definition in geometry of parallel is you can carry those parallel lines out ad infinitum, and they will still remain the exact same relationship to each other. If they're a little divergent, you see my fingers? How's it? They're a little divergent? It's a little bit off, no big deal. What happens is if you extend those lines out further? Well, you can't answer. I mean, that's not in front of you, so I can't call on hands. But we know, before you know it, it's like a V, and you're way off track, and the train crashes. So we need to hew to the lines and standards given by our acharyas. And that way we'll be sure, generation after generation, from Vaidya Bhakti to Raganuga Bhakti, if we follow the process, it will develop naturally, just for fun. Next time you're sitting there with something to do, time on your hands, do a word search on automatically, automatic or automatically. You will find so many statements by Prabhupada. Just do the needful. Just follow the standard. Just sincerely practice your sadhana bhakti. And then automatically, bhav will develop. Automatically, raganuga will come. Prabhupada said, deserve, then desire. So the following strictly the rules of puja is the way that your bhav, that your raganuga, your spontaneous love of Krishna will develop. And you jump over it like a monkey, that's what you'll be. You'll be a monkey in Vrindavan. Next. So I love this one. See the tree, it crashed, right? Something went wrong. So you got American Aviation School. And what does it say? Learn to fly here. Well, something went wrong in the translation. Whoops. Somebody made a left turn when they should have gone right. Prabhupada said there's fool number 1 and fool number 2. What does that mean? Well, they offer a sparkler in Zimbabwe. Well, they do it in New Dwarka, which they don't. But they do it so-and-so. So when Prabhupada would say, oh, well, so-and-so says, Prabhupada said, oh, and you should follow. Fool number 1 is Prabhupada said, fool number one is the one who says something foolish. And fool number 2 is the one who enthusiastically follows. Fool number 1, fool number 2. So just because, well, they do it somewhere, you ask our international ministry, deity minister. That's what he's there for. Well, we're thinking just like those devotees. I said, well, what is They wanted to bathe. Another temple, they wanted to bathe on their 50th anniversary, their large marble deities. I said, I don't know about that one, So I asked Nisringa Kavacha. He said, no. You use all that material, it'll corrode the paint, it'll stain the marble. No. So one of the biggest problems in Kali Yuga is pride, and we don't want to ask. We get a bright idea, and then we get attached to it. And therefore, we are fool number one and fool number two. You want to do it? You ask somebody who knows. Next. If you change the standards, planes, when they used to land at night, they just follow those runway lights. And I go out there and say, suppose instead of these lights, which guide the pilot for landing, what if I went and I changed all the lights and it spelled welcome home? Would that be a good thing? Would he be happy? Oh, thank you very much. He'd crash. So we do not change the standards. They're our guiding lights. Next. And that's our process. There's ascending knowledge and descending knowledge. And Prabhupada gives the example of a mango. If the mangoes, because they're the ripest, are at the top of the tree because they're getting the nice sun. So how do I get it? I'm on the ground. And we all know you make a chain of people. I've seen monkeys do this. You make a chain, and one will pick the top, hand it the next limb down, the next will hand it the next limb down, and you standing on the ground, you get the exact same fruit. It's untouched, it's unbruised, it's unbroken. So that's our disciplic succession. And our Goswamis have set the standard. They've set the standard. So we just follow. That is the basic principle of receiving knowledge. Next. At Mahajana Yena Gatasa Panta. That we follow in the footsteps of the Mahajans. That's in the same way. We follow in the footsteps of the standards Prabhupada set and those who perfected them. Then we're safe. Next, like Sita, when she stayed inside the circle of Lakshman, she was safe. So we stay within the standards given to us. I know that's Tulsi Ramayana, but still it's a nice example. Next. So just to give two examples, we have Radha Raman, this beautiful Radha Raman, hot summertime. He's in his shorts, in a nice shirt, summertime, spontaneous. And Gopal Bhatta. You see, here's Gopal Bhatta, Goswami, worshiping the Shila before it turned into Radha Raman. So he established a standard for Radha Raman, and we follow that. Next. This is from Yamuna's book that I hope you all have or get a copy of Dina Tarani's book about puja. It's the life of Yamuna. That book is for every Pujari should have that under their pillow at night when they take rest. It's an absolute. It's by Dina Tarani Mataji. It's about Yamuna. I forget the title. I think it's called Didi Seva. But that book is a jewel. So this is just one page. And this is from Yamuna Devi interviewing the head Mahant at the Radharaman temple at the time when she's there 19, whatever it was. And every month, what's the month, what's the type of puja, what you cook on that, what colors they wear, they have it honed down so strictly. And it's sweet. Next. Now this is Srinathji and Balabhacharya. Of course, Srinathji is Madhavinda Puri's Gopal deity, originally installed by Krishna's great-grandson, Maharaj Rajnabha, and then rediscovered by Madhavinda Puri. Now that deity has moved to escape from Aurangzeb. It's moved to Nathdwara. Prabhupada was joking. Prabhupada said, we could bring legal suit and bring back our deity. But Prabhupada said, no, they're worshiping not. It's Pushti Marg. They're worshiping him like a cowherd boy in Nanda Maharaj's Haveli. But so next slide. They've got it down. See, they've also got it divided by the months and the different pujas. It's Yamuna's Seva, it's Chandravali's, it's the Litas, it's Radhas, and it's down to what sense, incense, what aromas, what fragrances you use for a particular set of months, and what scents you use for each arti. I mean, that's just sublime. So we like rules and regulations. They're guideposts. I was teaching a devotee how to drive. He was coming from India. And they have a manual in America with all the guide standards, you know. And so we went out on the road. I said, I was driving. I said, you just pretend you're driving and look. And after a few minutes, he said, there's so many signs. There's all these signs. I said, yeah, those signs are your friends. Like one way, do not enter. That sign's a friend. Bridge out, danger. Hey, that sign's your friend. So if we look at these guidelines as signposts, how to traverse the path of bhakti, they're our friends. Next. Oh, this is, and of course you can't see it, but you can get the idea. It's got all the details of the throne, of all of his mukut, all the devesha, all the details of how everything fits and where it goes and how it hangs. Prabhupada said that he told Jai Tirtha that it should look naturally. Sometimes they pin the necklaces to the deities, or the Krishna's dancing this way and the garlands are swinging the other way. No, it should look natural. And Prabhupada said symmetry is the basis of beauty. Things should hang symmetrically and naturally, and they shouldn't be all pinned all up to each other. And you know, Krishna's not a Christmas tree that you just decorate him like an ornamental tree. There's a whole art to the thing. And symmetry is the basis of the beauty, and it should look natural. One last thing I just thought of. Prabhupada said that Krishna should, that Radharani should always be dressed more beautifully than Krishna. You know why? Prabhupada said that way Krishna will never leave. Okay, next. We're coming to the end. Yeah, we're at the end. So this is Srila Prabhupada. He's offering arti to Radha London Ishwara. And Prabhupada said, you know, in Paris, Prabhupada said all over the world, French women are famous for their beauty. Prabhupada said, so Krishna has come to get some French gopis. Next. So that's the end. Staying under the shelter of our tradition. This is Prabhupada at the first arti at the opening of the Krishna Balaram temple. And there he is. And look at Prabhupada's face. Just sublime. So we stay under the shelter of our tradition. Will naturally, automatically advance in spiritual life. We don't speculate. When in doubt, we don't. When we want to learn something. When did Bhagavad Gita actually begin? Bhagavad Gita began when Krishna said, Tadvidi panipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Arjuna said, no more questions. I'm a sishya. I'm soul surrendered unto you. And then instruction came. So just be trained, and thank you for doing it. And we can end there. I don't know how much time I have left. I have a 28-minute slot. We can end this, and let's look at everybody's bright face. So Nishinga Kavacha Prabhu, what do we do now? Do we have 5 minutes for questions, or is that it? And I wave goodbye.
Yeah, it's up to you, March. I mean, we do have a little bit of time. If devotees have questions they'd like to ask, then they're most welcome.
So I can't see who's doing what. Who can see and can call on people?
Yeah, I can do that. If anyone puts their hand up, if devotees
and remember to unmute. Remember to unmute yourself.
So
anybody got a question?
Would anyone like to ask Maharaj a question? A very interesting presentation.
After 50 years of doing this, I'll tell you how this works. Nobody asks a question. Everybody thinks, oh, the person next to me, they'll ask a question. And if everybody in the room thinks the person next to me will ask a question, what happens? Nobody asks a question. I tell you, and all it takes is one brave soul. And I think we've got Murli Manohar. One brave person asks a soul a question. And everybody thinks, oh, wait, I got a question. Okay, Murli, what's up?
Thank you much for wonderful presentation. Just from your experience,
fun. I don't know about you, but I had a lot of fun. Go ahead.
What do you see presently as being the perhaps the most prominent danger or deviation in our worship in ISKCON? Is there something which is really prominent, which we perhaps should read? Or is it in general a lot of things?
I thought I just gave us presentation on that exact point. Hello, were you watching?
Yeah, I was.
Speculating. People speculate.
Yeah.
People listen to fool number one and become fool number two. What do? You ask someone who knows. You get trained. You follow. You stay within the lines. You color within the lines. And if you get a bright idea, maybe it's a good one. You ask someone who knows. And if they say, no, you're crazy, or don't do that, you don't do it.
There's a really interesting letter that Prabhupada wrote to the head Pujari in Los Angeles. I think you're aware of this letter, Maharaj, where the Pujari was asking all these different types of questions. And one of the questions he asked was, could Jagannath have a flute? And Prabhupada was starting to get quite annoyed with him by that time. So yeah,
I don't remember that. Something's happened here with. There we go. Yeah. You know, there's that famous letter that someone writes to Srila Prabhupada, and they're about Tulsi. And they ask Prabhupada about 18 questions.
Yeah.
Prabhupada answers the first like 6 or 7 core ones. You know, Prabhupada gives obviously gives good instruction. And then Prabhupada says, and for the rest of your questions, use your common sense. For the rest of your questions, use your common sense. And as a sidelight, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, common sense, that gift from God so rarely used. Common sense, that gift from God so rarely used. That's nice. And then Prabhupada says, use your common sense. And knowing us so well, Prabhupada says, and if you don't have common sense, ask someone who does. So just ask someone who does. Don't overcome. I was in Prabhupada's room one time. Murli, would you touch your nose, please? I'm serious. No. Can you see my face?
I can see your face.
Can you see? We make
Yes.
everything so complicated. Just touch your nose. So just follow. Okay, does anyone else have a question? If not, we can end. I'm not desperate for business.
I once I could say, just to follow is so boring, Maharaj. Can't we use our artistic? It's so.
What's that?
Just to follow is boring.
No, that's nonsense. How? I mean, you can. You're very good questions. Don't get me wrong. I know that you're asking to churn the milk, so I understand that you're not just a wild speculator. They're good questions. So I apologize if I'm too harsh. What in the world are you talking about? We have a whole garden here at San Diego that we grow fragrant flowers for the deities. And we have a devotee, Mani Bandhani, which is a great name. It's a name, he's initiated. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the bracelets and the arm bracelets and anklets that Krishna wears made out of flowers. So that's the root of his name, And he's a fantastic gardener. And we grow fragrant flowers. We've got champag, we got frangipani, we got gardenias. We have over 15 types of fragrant roses. So you can't use your intelligence how to develop a garden. He's become an expert gardener. We've got devotees on Radhastami. The piping on Krishna's pants was so beautiful. So you express your intelligence, you express your individuality, but like water flowing. If water is just flowing across a broad spectrum, it doesn't have much force. But if you narrow that water, if you go to Makrana now, they're cutting that stone with water guns. It's so focused that it'll carve through that sandstone. So when our creativity and our intelligence and our spontaneity is filtered through the channel of proper standards, we can cut through stone. So how to decorate? You go out and glorify the deities. Design a whole festival, a theme around it's Gopastami, and decorate the temple room with cows, and whatever, somehow or other in San Diego, nobody made a cake for Janmashtami. Nobody made a cake. It's a birthday. It's a Western tradition. You make a cake. Everyone was fried. Everybody thought the person next to them would do it. So for Radhastami, we sent out an appeal that, initiated devotees, you make the nicest cake you know. They offered over 64 different types of cakes, all different. Carob, German cake, cheesecake, this cake, that, 4-layered Neapolitan, sherbet cake, 64 cakes. Now, what are you telling me? You can't use your creativity. You can't use your intelligence. You got to color within the lines. And I'm just an automaton. I'm a robot. Nice try, buddy. Oh, sorry.
The letter I was referring to before was to a letter called Dhruvananda.
Dhruvananda, who's a mad speculator.
Yeah, he was the head Pujari in Los Angeles at the time, he told us. But at the end of the letter, Prabhupada said to him, the greatest danger to our movement will come if you add or change something in the deity worship. He says, do it as I've shown you.
That's great. Can you send me the quote? Do you mind sending me the Shinka?
So that was so wonderful. The greatest danger to our movement will come from that.
Yes, Nishinga Kavacha has fine-tuned and improved my answer. He's answered you better than me. Mine was fun, but he gave you a focused answer. Okay, anyone else have a question? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. I can't see. Okay, everybody wants their break. It's like asking if you give a long lecture and then you're up against Prashadam and you keep talking, it's Prashadam, and you ask for questions, nobody's going to raise their hand. So you take your break. Thank you very much for your association. And thank you, Nishinga Kapacha. I'm really glad you asked me. It was fun.
Hare Krishna. We'll
do it some other time. You give me another theme. We'll do it some other time. Okay, Prabhus.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. And let me say one last thing. Thank you for your dedication to the deity worship. The deities, the Ishtadev, the deities are the heartbeat of the temple. So thank you so much for taking good care of your deities. Okay, thank you. I'll see you later, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Stay well, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.